Welcome everybody to a brand new video. Today, I want to talk about the gaming Me Too movement. As you can imagine, this is a pretty big topic at the moment. A lot of people are coming out on social media and exposing people who have wronged them, people who have committed acts of sexual assault. And I know what some of you might say right off the bat, oh, some of these people are innocent. Yeah, I know, I'll get to that. First of all though, I just want to talk about the whole movement in general. For the women who have actually experienced sexual abuse, I think it's extremely brave of them to come out and expose these people. I understand that with our current system, rape and sexual assault isn't taken seriously enough in the justice system. So I understand that for some of these people, they may have already tried to seek help from the police to try and get these people in trouble, but maybe a lack of evidence, a lack of whatever has stopped them from being able to actually achieve justice for what they went through. So for them to come out on Twitter, for the people who have genuinely been affected by these things and who come out on Twitter, as I said, you're extremely brave. If you have evidence to take this person down, please use it. Know that what happened to you is not your fault, and you shouldn't make excuses for these people. Expose them, because people who commit acts of sexual assault, rape, are just filth, and they need to be stopped. But anyway, let's talk about sexual assault and rape. This is a very big issue, not just in the gaming community, but just across the world, throughout any community whatsoever. It's an extremely heinous act, I'm sure we all know, and I just wish that more people just understood that no means no. I personally have no sympathy for anybody who has committed any act of sexual assault upon another person. I think it's extremely disgusting and just heinous, as I said. To anybody who has been accused of sexual assault and is guilty about it and hasn't faced repercussions in the face of the law, but has faced repercussions in their social life through losing their job, their partner, ruining relationships with their loved ones and their friends, I think that is completely fine. I think you deserve to lose all of that if you have done something so disgusting. So for the people who are coming out and exposing these people for who they truly are, thank you, because this is something that needs to be stopped. This is something that has been going on for too long, and it's a lot more prevalent than a lot of people may have realized before. Now, in this video, I sort of want to tackle two of the extreme sides when it comes to the Me Too movement in general. And I say tackle, but I don't really mean it in that way. I don't want to do this in an aggressive way because I understand that this is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people. I do want to try and be as unbiased as possible and hear both sides out, but I do want to sort of talk about both of the extreme sides that I have heard about. There are two sides that I want to talk about in this video. The first being the side that generally associates with the hashtag believe all women, and then the other side of generally men who just assume that anybody who comes out with any allegations like this are liars. I don't personally consider myself to be on any of these extreme sides. I would say in the past I was more skeptical of accusations, which I think you should be, and I'll tackle that later on in this video. But I definitely used to be the type of person who approached a lot of these accusations with a lot of doubt. However, today, I wouldn't exactly say I'm at that point. I will explain in this video where I believe that I stand. I don't believe I stand on either side. I will talk about those later on. I just want to describe sort of how I see some of these things, and I don't think that it's an unreasonable stance to take. And I would encourage you guys to listen to what I have to say, regardless of what extreme side you're on. Because on places such as Twitter, social media in general, you'll find that a lot of people seem to be on these extreme sides. It seems like everybody is just out to hurt each other rather than actually listen to each other, instead of trying to find some sort of happy medium that everybody will be content with. Now, before I dive into this, I do realize that some things are just very complicated. There is no easy solution to a lot of these situations. Rape is a very, very complicated thing. Even if something did actually happen to somebody, say if someone was actually sexually assaulted, it's in a lot of cases very, very difficult to file a case against the person who harmed you, because how do you have evidence that something like that happened to you? In a lot of cases, most victims just simply don't have that evidence, so it's sort of a he said, she said sort of situation. It's the exact reason why there is a side such as #BelieveAllWomen, because in a lot of cases, it's just extremely hard to have any sort of evidence to prove that a crime was committed against you. But that hashtag, why I call it an extreme, is because it also opens the floodgates for false allegations, which is where the other side of the extreme, as I would call it, rests. You have this side that says believe all women, and when I say women, obviously I'm not just referring to women, because of course it doesn't matter who you are, you can experience sexual assault, even if you're a man, and I think that those cases should be treated just as seriously as if it were to happen to a woman. You have this side which is believe all women, believe all victims, and then the other extreme says that, hey, if we were to believe everybody, wouldn't that open the floodgates for false accusations? Which absolutely, that is what happens. That is the case. False accusations do happen. I mean, ever since this whole Gaming Me Too movement started, we've already had a few cases that were proven to be false. But as I said, I am not taking that side. The side that looks at every single story and says, this person is lying. This person has no evidence. There is a huge chance that this person is just fabricating this to try and ruin this person's career. I do not personally take that side because I think that's an incredibly damaging side to take. I don't take either side. I don't take the side that just automatically believes anybody who comes out with a story, and I don't take the side that automatically assumes that every story is a lie. I want to offer a way of thinking to both of these extreme sides. And the first one that I want to talk about is the side that automatically assumes that every story is a lie. Anytime somebody talks about their experience with sexual assault, specifically on Twitter, God, Twitter is fucking horrible, you will always find people replying to that person who is a supposed victim, reminding this person that false allegations are a thing and that if they have no evidence, they should just not even bother coming out with their stories. Basically calling them a liar, saying that because they have no evidence, this is very obviously a false accusation. And I personally think that this is incredibly wrong. You should absolutely not be doing this. If somebody comes out with their story, regardless of whether or not you believe it's true or false, you should not go to that person and say, hey, you're probably lying about this. It's incredibly disrespectful. And I know what you're thinking. What if this person is actually fabricating this? Shouldn't I be suspicious? I mean, there have been plenty of men in the past who have had their lives ruined over false allegations. One that comes to mind is Tobuscus. That one is a very, very painful one to swallow. And I can definitely understand why somebody would approach a story and be very, very skeptical of the fact that there's no evidence. Because things like this have ruined people's lives who most likely didn't do anything wrong. But this is where I want to link it to the other extreme. Now I will be talking about both of these things sort of simultaneously and sort of offering some sort of way to approach these situations without taking either of these sides, because I don't think you need to take either of these two extreme sides. I think you just need to learn how to sort of approach situations like this in a rational way. If somebody comes out with a story of sexual assault that happened to them, if they want to put that out, regardless of whether or not you think they are being truthful or lying, you should not approach that person automatically believing them. However, you should also not approach that person automatically assuming that they are lying. Instead, I think the best course of action in a situation like that would harm the least amount of people is to look at that person's story, listen to what they have to say. You don't have to believe them. Just hear what they have to say. And then the opposite person who is being accused, you should hear their story too. And don't automatically assume they're guilty. Don't automatically assume that they're innocent. Just take these two stories, analyze them yourself, and come to your own conclusion. And even then, when you come to your own conclusion, whether you think the man is guilty, innocent, whether you think the person who is throwing the accusation is being truthful or lying, even then, when you come up with that opinion, realize that maybe you don't have all the facts. Realize that no matter what conclusion you come up to, you could be wrong, which is why you shouldn't automatically just throw either party under the bus. The reason why these two extremes are harmful, in my opinion, is because if you believe all women, then it lets the women who are throwing false accusations slip by. And the problem with that is that it actually hurts people who have been genuinely sexually assaulted. That is the problem with believing all women, because it lets the false accusations slide through. Not only does it hurt your actual cause, but it also hurts the person who was accused. They might have their life ruined because they were falsely accused. However, on the other side as well, automatically assuming that every single story without evidence is false is also extremely damaging. Not only does it make you look extremely scummy and sort of makes you seem like a rape apologist, but let's say for argument's sake, someone comes out on Twitter with their story, and you automatically assume that they are lying, and you reply to them telling them that they're lying, telling them that they're a piece of shit. What if the story develops and it turns out that this person was telling the truth, that they actually were sexually assaulted? How would you feel knowing that you just shit on somebody who perhaps went through the most traumatic moment of their entire life, something that is so crippling that is going to stay with them for the rest of their life? If somebody has actually been sexually assaulted and they come out with their story, it's already an incredibly large act of braveness to do so. And for you to come along and just automatically assume they're lying, it's extremely disrespectful, makes you look like an idiot, and hurts genuine victims. And for anybody who is on that side who looks at stories with extreme skepticism, you might think to yourself, well, shouldn't we punish the people who come out with false accusations? Yes, but do it after it's been proven that it was a false allegation. You know, a lot of people who are on that side always bring up the point, innocent until proven guilty. And I agree with that. I totally agree. If an accusation of sexual assault is put onto somebody, they should be assumed innocent until proven guilty. But by assuming that the person who is throwing that accusation is lying, you're sort of going against your own ideology. You are assuming that this person is guilty until proven innocent. You're automatically assuming that they're a piece of shit, that they're lying about their story. It goes completely against everything that you stand for. You shouldn't just treat people who are accused of sexual assault as innocent until proven guilty. You should also assume that the person throwing the accusation is innocent until proven guilty. Do not shit on somebody before it's proven that their story is false. Shit on them after it's been proven. Then you have my full permission. If somebody throws an accusation of sexual assault at someone and it's proven that that did not happen, I mean, take Justin Bieber, for example. Yes, absolutely shit on that person for trying to ruin somebody else's life. I think that's incredibly disgusting. I think it's horrible that something like that happens. I cannot see how anybody can justify taking that action. Just understand that whatever action you take in that moment when you listen to somebody's story, it could be damaging to so many more people than you realize. If you automatically believe all victims, then it's hurting the people who are falsely accused, and it's also hurting genuine victims. But if you automatically assume that every story that comes out is false, you are not only hurting people who are genuine victims to these crimes, but you're also hurting your own cause, which is why I say that I don't stand on either side. I personally think that when a story of sexual assault comes out, your first course of action is to go, okay, let me listen to this person who threw the accusation out, and let me listen to the person who is being accused. Let me make my own decision based on what the evidence is, based on what I personally think to be true. And then again, even when you come to that conclusion on what you think is true and is not true, that doesn't mean you need to act on it. That doesn't mean that you need to throw either party under the bus. Because under the risk that you are wrong, you are doing incredible damage to somebody. If you shit on someone who put their story out and it turns out that they were being truthful, that they were actually sexually assaulted, you just did that to somebody. And then if you automatically just shit on somebody who was accused based on nothing whatsoever, then you are taking part in potentially ruining that person's life. Which is why I think you should take what I'm saying on board. Don't automatically assume that either party is lying. Just look at the evidence for what it is, look into both people's stories, and come up with your own conclusion. But as I said, even when you do that, Don't just jump the gun and do something that could potentially hurt somebody. If somebody was accused of sexual assault, shit on that person after it's been proven that they did that they sexually assaulted somebody. If an individual is throwing an accusation out, shit on that person after it's been proven that it was a false accusation. Not only is the person being accused innocent until proven guilty, but so is the person throwing the accusation out. I feel like a lot of people on both of these extreme ends could really take a look at themselves and understand that some of the arguments that you make need to apply to you as well, not just to other people. That's all I had to say about this topic. I understand that this video might be a little bit more lengthy, but this was something that I really wanted to touch on. It's something that really struck a chord with me, and I had some really strong thoughts on it, some really strong opinions, and I really wanted to use whatever small platform I have to talk about these things. With that being said, I am going to wrap this video up here. Thank you to everybody who watched. I hope you listened to what I had to say, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.